One of the most frequently asked questions I receive from travelers booking reservations is if we do breakfast. Hotel breakfast offerings have become the subject of much online discussion by reviewers within the past few years, as travel restrictions have been lifted since the COVID-19 pandemic, and the hospitality industry has recovered in the domestic leisure segment to pre-pandemic levels. Perhaps much of this was from the significant increase in travel spending in 2022 compared to 2020 and 2021, a total of $1.2 trillion in direct travel spending, of which $837 billion was spent by the domestic leisure segment. Leisure has continued to account for the majority of total travel spending in the United States in the years that followed. Analysts have called this trend revenge travel, referring to the impulse to go out and explore more places when travel restrictions were lifted to make up for all that time that was lost during the pandemic. As with most workplaces, the hospitality industry had to quickly adapt to all of the challenges the pandemic created. 2020 was a very rough year for hotels globally. With substantially fewer people traveling, revenue dropped significantly, leading to a reduction of staff as well as services, such as housekeeping and breakfast offerings. This reduction in services varied from brand to brand and, to an extent, from property to property. I had the unique experience of starting my hospitality career at the tail end of 2020 at what was then an IHG property. At the time, we did offer our guests a complimentary hot breakfast, although due to our brand's COVID requirements, guests were not permitted to serve themselves, including tea and coffee. Instead, we served them what they wanted. For hot meal items, we offered pancakes, biscuits and gravy daily, rotating protein choices of sausage links or patties, and egg choices alternating between scrambled and 2 omelet options. What also made working at this property an interesting experience was going through a renovation and a rebrand starting in 2021. This meant learning new brand standards, in my case, Best Western requirements. As it is, there are many varying hotel brands in the United States which will have some form of breakfast. However, it should also be understood that not all properties offer a free or complimentary breakfast, but rather one that you pay extra for. Examples of this can be found at Holiday Inn properties, not to be confused with Holiday Inn Express, which does offer a complimentary breakfast, as well as Hilton Garden Inn. This doesn't appeal to some travelers who are more accustomed to a complimentary breakfast buffet. Something else that needs to be considered is the variation of breakfast offerings for each hotel brand and their respective tier. Every brand will have a set of standards or requirements that the property needs to adhere to in order to operate under their franchise agreement. These brand standards, among other things, will describe the breakfast requirements, the minimum hours of operation, what all is to be offered, and so forth. Something else to keep in mind is that some extended stay brands, like IHG Candlewood Suites and Mainstay Suites by Choice, don't serve breakfast in the traditional sense, though typically these hotels will have a stocked sundry shop on site with various for-purchase meal items. Again, this doesn't appeal to travelers expecting a complimentary breakfast only to discover that they need to purchase a meal and prepare it themselves. But for those with food sensitivities and special diets, having access to an in-room kitchenette complete with a full-size refrigerator and stovetop can be a more practical solution. All of these variables need to be accounted for because we simply cannot and should not compare an economy tier hotel's breakfast against an upper mid-scale property and expect it to be as good as the higher tier and thus higher priced hotel. Some travelers will leave negative reviews at certain hotels after finding out that the breakfast cost a little extra, when their frustration and disappointment could have been saved via a simple search of the hotel's amenities. I can also recall a review we received at my first property describing how our breakfast options were less than what the next door diner offered. And yes, this was a complimentary hot breakfast being compared to an actual restaurant that cost extra. I find comments like these to be rather humorous. Of course, everyone has their own preferences and ideas for what the best hotel breakfast should be. But the reality is that we, as hotel staff and hospitality providers, cannot meet all of these ideals that every guest has at every single property. Instead, we offer what we can as allowed by our budget and required by our brand standards. It is also recommended to listen to guest feedback, especially your property's main revenue drivers. At my current property, we open our complimentary breakfast during the weekdays at an earlier time to accommodate our business and blue-collar workers, many of whom have to leave by 6 or 6:30 in the morning. Offering menu options for individuals with food allergies and sensitivities, such as gluten-free breads and muffins, as well as a milk alternative, is another advantage for your property. Many brands now strongly encourage their partners to include gluten and dairy-free breakfast items to accommodate travelers with dietary restrictions. You may have noticed that, thus far, I have not mentioned independent properties. This is not to be confused with hotels that are independently owned and operated under a franchise or license agreement with their respective brand, but rather those properties which do not belong to a hotel brand company. The reason why I have not included independent hotels in this discussion is because I have not worked at such properties yet, so I don't have a lot of insider knowledge to offer. That said, independent properties often have more options in how they choose to operate. I did have an interview at such a hotel, and I asked the then GM for her view of the operational benefits. She described it as, quote, having more freedom of choice. However, independent hotels have their own set of challenges that they need to overcome in order to stand out and effectively compete with neighboring branded properties. Taking all of these factors into consideration, we can now proceed with better understanding of hotel breakfast options. So let's take a closer look at some different properties and see what all they have to offer. For greater clarity, I have included some different hotel brands with tier levels varying from economy to upper mid-scale. Okay, so this is at a Hampton Inn and Suites. Two types of waffle mix and the toppings here. Nice touch with the blueberry. Pastries and carbohydrates, also gluten-free options for those who need it. Hot menu items today. And this is actually prepared oatmeal instead of instant oatmeal. Toppings, as you can see. There is also another option back there. And we have the cold cereal. And again, gluten-free option right there for those who need. Cold water, and then the juice machine. And last but not least, behind the coffee, we have fruit selection. So this is mango, cantaloupe, dragon fruit, as well as pineapple. Hey everybody, this is Marcy at the Hampton Inn Suites, and just have a couple questions for you just regarding the breakfast offerings we have here, and a couple other questions as well. So you've been here, I believe, 15 years?
Yes, I've been here at this hotel 15 years, and I split my time between the front desk and the kitchen.
Nice. There you go. Okay. Can you elaborate a bit on what the brand standards are for a Hampton Inn?
So the Hampton, falling under the Hilton brand of family of properties, we have pretty stringent standards. We offer a wide variety of foods. We don't have your typical continental breakfast here. It's a full hot breakfast. We offer eggs, meats, potatoes, starches, a variety of cereals, fruits, fresh fruits, waffles. Our waffle bar is very popular with a number of different toppings to add to those. Of course, we have coffee available here 24 hours a day. Three different varieties of coffee, hot water for hot tea and hot chocolate, all of that kind of thing. We strive really hard to go a little bit above and beyond. So, the guest comes first.
There you go. All right. And then, quick question: is your coffee vendor Farmer Brothers?
It is, yes.
It is, okay. Because I've noticed it's phenomenal coffee. I love that you have a dark roast. I'm a sucker for dark roast. So.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And then, can you tell me what was COVID like for you guys?
Okay. So, because we had city ordinances in place here in Brookings that barred the serving of buffet type restaurants and foods, our breakfast here was completely shut down during COVID.
Okay.
So we did the best we could to offer some grab and go options.
Okay.
We put together breakfast boxes that we kept in the cooler in our sweet shop that had, bagels and cream cheese and a few, a piece of fruit, that type of thing. We offered cartons of milk and bottles of water for people so that at least they didn't have to go without anything, and of course we still had coffee.
Okay.
As we came out of that, we started to offer a number of sort of grab and go items, wrapped things like wrapped muffins, wrapped granola bars, that sort of thing. And we started to run those offerings here in the lobby before the restrictions on buffet services were lifted, so that we sort of eased back into breakfast that way. And then once the city changed their ordinances back to normal, we were operation full steam ahead.
Nice.
COVID breakfast.
There you go.
Breakfast. So it was a tough time in the hospitality industry for all of us.
Yep.
Some of the for not only the employees but also for the guests. It was in just such an everything was so uncertain, but we survived, and here we are.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Marcy, and this is the Hampton at Brookings, South Dakota. Okay, this is at my current property here. This is what we have for cold cereal options. And you can see some of the dairy products here. And then toppings for the carbs. Notice we do have gluten-free bread, which is always nice. Very good to have. Hot meal items here. Salsa toppings, and then of course daily biscuits and gravy. Juice machine, apple, cranberry, orange, and water. Hot cereal options. Toppings, and then of course waffle mix. And the coffee. Regular, decaf, and hot water. Okay, I'm here with Mechele, and this is at my current property, Country Inn Suites in Brookings, South Dakota. Just want to ask you a few questions, Mechele. Starting off, how long have you been here at this property?
About a year and 4.5 months or so.
Okay, very good. About the same as me. Perfect. All right, and Where did you come from? Which property did you come from before?
Quality Inn,
Quality.
Brookings.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, I was at that property before new ownership for about 5.5 years.
Okay.
Previously, before that, was Comfort Inn,
Okay.
and I was at that property almost 9 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And we were talking about this earlier. She also used to work at a Hyatt place in Dallas, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got quite a lot of brand experience, which is,
Mm-hmm.
in this industry, is very, very good. It's something that we're highly sought after. So
It's a constant change,
it
constantly.
is. Yeah, yeah. So we're certainly happy to have you here with us, Mechele.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit about what the brand standards are that you know of for Country Inn as far as breakfast?
Oh, wow. Country Inn, for here on this particular property, the breakfast area is basically, we have a great variety available for the guests to choose from. A lot of them kind of like, oh, where do I begin? Do I want waffle? Oh, they have the mini. So
Yeah.
we have a few of the hot items available. There's oatmeal that they can prepare for themselves. I know some of the other properties may already have the oatmeal prepared, like already made, where they can like
Yes.
serve it. So
Yep.
it's not served hot here. So it's basically individually packaged, and they can add water to it. We have the microwave available for the guests to use also if need be. We have the fruit that's available. We have
Yeah.
apples,
Yeah.
and I don't know, it's a great little setup here.
Yeah, we've gotten quite a lot of positive comments regarding our breakfast. I know one advantage that we do have compared to many properties here is we actually start breakfast during the week earlier by about a half hour to a full hour than other properties do, which is something we get a lot of positive comments on from our workers because they love that. They can stop by here early, grab a bite to eat before they have to be at the job site at 6 or
Absolutely.
6:30. So
Absolutely,
yeah,
they
so-
love that.
Yes.
And then also too, they also mentioned that they love seeing a smiling face to get their day going.
Yes, yes. And we get a lot of comments about Mechele, so she's a wonderful asset on our team.
Yeah, they said, well, great, so thank you so much for the great breakfast. I said, hey, I can't take full credit for it. It takes a team to put this together for you all.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, they really appreciate the extra hour that we give them.
There you go.
Have it available for them. But they said the smile is what starts it off for them. 'Cause they're not at their best, and a lot of times they're still kind of like waking up. And I just always let them know, hey, thank you for joining me for breakfast. Have a wonderful day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And then last question. So we were both in the industry right around the COVID time. So let me take your perspective on
Okay.
COVID.
Okay.
When you worked with the hospitality industry, what was that like for you?
Oh, it's very different. I would say it was like a huge change, especially as far as the sanitizing process, as well as from hosting breakfast. The setup had to be a little different. The spacing of the tables and chairs had to be set up in a different way. That way, you're like maybe a good 6 feet away, or it was very different. Went down from 8 tables to 4, depending on how many occupancies we had,
Yes.
in the hotel. Preparing of the meal, change out the gloves constantly.
Yes.
Wear the mask.
Yep.
And goggles if need be when you're dealing with chemicals.
Right.
During each break in the breakfast area, you have to sanitize and wipe down tables periodically. I mean, throughout the shift.
Right.
Which is constantly, we still do that currently.
Right.
Individually wrapping, we had to make sandwiches too. So and some of the hot items are not always available.
Okay.
So it was like a lot of the cold items at the time. It was very different, but we made it work.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
We made it work.
Yes. Great to be in 2025. So.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me, Mechele.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. And again, this is the Country Inn Suites in Brookings, South Dakota.
Thank
Good
you.
to have you on our team, Mechele.
All right. Pleasure.
Yeah. Okay, here's the coffee. products here. The juice machine. Cold cereal options as well as hot oatmeal. Biscuits today. And then we have gravy and sausage links. Muffins, bread, and toppings. Toaster, microwave, and pancake machine. Okay, here we have the coffee machine. Juice machine, apple and orange. Fruit cups over there. Sausage links. And it looks like scrambled eggs today. Yep. Dairy products here. 2 cold cereal options as well as hot carbohydrate, hot bakery option here. Okay, so I want to take a moment and expand a bit on the economy tier segment of hotels, as the breakfast selection that you guys previously saw for these 2 particular Wyndham properties, it may be more than what other economy brands offer. And again, the variation depends on the property's brand requirements and how much they're willing to spend on their breakfast offerings for their primary clients during the week and so forth. For reference, I interviewed for a management position at a different economy branded property earlier this year, and their breakfast selection was the basic grab-and-go type without any hot meal items offered. And that was for that was a Sonesta property, entirely different from your typical Wyndham economy tier property. So I'm here with Robyn, and she's been here quite a while.
10 years.
10 years. So very good. So anyway, couple questions I have for you. So what was COVID like for you, for your experience? Yeah.
Said,
Yeah.
No breakfast. We
Yeah.
just had bags of pre-wrapped or pre-packaged snacks, and they were, we'd have bags up there. You could grab a bag,
Okay.
like with an apple and a granola bar, or
okay.
something like that.
Right.
And that was all, and it was no service, no coffee.
Oof.
You had to, yeah.
Oof. Brutal.
It was brutal.
Good thing we're out of that now. So.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, and then we moved right into the new transition right back into our old.
Great. Yeah. Yeah.
We have a good selection.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good. Cool. All right. And I did talk to the GM here, and so from what he told me, the offerings here that he has are a little bit above the minimum, which is always what people try to do. They want to do a bit more than the bare minimum of the requirements. And I know on certain days, I believe the weekend, he offers biscuits and gravy, if I'm not mistaken. Yep.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, he wants to put out a bit more on the weekend because the weekend rates are a little bit higher, typically during at this particular property as opposed to during the week. So it's a way of giving back to the guests who are willing to spend a bit more, which is always nice because you don't always see that, especially in the economy segment, because you know,
It's an economy.
it's an economy segment, and you have worked at a Super 8 before, which didn't have really any hot meal items, as I understand.
Just the
or
waffles.
Just the waffles.
Just the waffles was it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it can vary quite a bit, guys. It depends on really what that property is willing to do for their guests. So it's always good to, if you're not sure, you can always look up on that property's website. And if you're not sure how to get to the property's website, find out what the parent brand is of that particular hotel. So like a Days Inn, that's going to be a Wyndham property. The majority of economy hotels in the United States, at least, are Wyndham, as far as I'm concerned. There's a significant portion of Wyndham properties, and it's always good. Choice as well. Choice has Econo-Lodge. It's always good to just contact that property, see what they have, if it's listed on their website, and if it's not a good enough description, just go ahead and see if you can contact that property. Ask them, hey, what does your breakfast include? What all is offered there? And hopefully that representative will be able to be, pass on the information to you so that you have a better decision and you can make the appropriate choice as to what you want to do for your stay. So great talking with you, Robyn.
Yeah, great talking with you.
Absolutely. Okay, this is a mid-scale property, Garner by IHG. Toppings, etc. Fresh fruit. We have prepared oatmeal and the toppings for it. More cereal options here. Some dairy products, yogurts and cream cheese, etc. And then coffee and tea, and we have 2 coffee machines here. And the juice machine. So we might be wondering, what exactly is Garner by IHG? So Garner is a very new mid-scale conversion brand with, as of the 30th of June this year, 51 open hotels globally, with 5,028 open rooms, 87 pipeline hotels, and 7,941 pipeline rooms. So according to IHG Development, Garner is redefining the mid-scale limited service market by leading with character, focusing on delivering quality stays at an affordable price, which is hard to find in the mid-scale conversion space. Garner hotels are designed to deliver the all-important things guests value most: a convenient location, a sound night's sleep, and a great complimentary hot breakfast. But the way those basics are delivered is purposefully different from property to property, from the warm, welcoming team to the lobby and room decor. Okay, juice machine right here. And then coffee. Tea is then creamers here. We have hot cereal options, some fruit, as well as cold cereal options, dairy products here. And then hot menu options today. And then the waffle machine. So you may have noticed earlier in this video the 4 primary types of breakfast classifications. We have grab and go, continental, hot, and full hot breakfast categories. So I'd like to take a minute and just expand a bit on the specific classifications, starting with grab and go. So grab and go can refer to a couple of different things. It can refer to a pre-packaged solution for guests who are on the go and may not have the time for a sit-down meal at the property. And this usually involves a bag with a pre-packaged sandwich, breakfast sandwich, as well as perhaps a muffin, bagel, some bread, a piece of fruit maybe, such as an apple or an orange. And this is meant for travelers who may not have the time for a sit-down meal at the property. Now, grab and go can also refer to a secondary option for travelers who may not have the time for a sit-down meal at the hotel. So Best Western branded properties, for example, offer these guests an eco-friendly container, such as a biodegradable bag or biodegradable carton that they can take with them and store yogurts, pastries, breads, muffins, things like that with them, so that they can take these items with them and be out the door to catch their early morning flight, for example. It's also a great option for blue-collar workers. Now, a continental breakfast is one where there are no hot menu items offered. And this is something that you could expect at a number of economy-branded hotels. And again, no hot menu items offered. And I think a lot of people confuse the term continental with complimentary. Now, a complimentary breakfast is one in which it is provided to you for free as part of booking the hotel room. There is no added fee for the breakfast. It is complimentary as part of your stay. So this could also be a hot or a full hot breakfast, which could be complimentary as well. So, for example, our property, we offer a complimentary full hot breakfast. The Hampton that I also interviewed, they also offered a complimentary full hot breakfast. Now, going back here, the hot breakfast is going to have hot menu items offered in it. For example, the Super 8, as well as the Days Inn by Wyndham properties that I featured in this video, they both had a hot breakfast. They had biscuits and gravy out of the Super 8, which also had sausage links as well as a pancake machine, and again, that's an incredible value for guests who are travelers who are on a budget, who, again, it's not something you can expect at every economy hotel to have hot menu items like that. That's a really good value. Same thing with the Days Inn. They had scrambled eggs, sausage links, as well as the waffle machine, waffle batter. That's really, really good. Really good value for people on a budget. Now, if we look at the full hot breakfast category, this is going to have the greatest selection, the greatest variety of foods and menu options for guests. It's going to have at least one hot egg item, as well as a secondary protein, such as sausage links, patties, things like that, as well as a hot carbohydrate. And this could be breakfast potatoes. This could be hot cereal, such as oatmeal, grits, something like that, as well as at least one hot bakery item. And this hot bakery item could be waffles, pancakes, or biscuits and gravy. You will also notice a greater selection of juices in the juice machine, as well as a greater variety of cold cereal options in the full hot breakfast segment. And again, this is something that you will find typically beginning at mid-scale, certainly upper mid-scale properties. And this is something that a lot of people look for, is the greatest value that you can get. And to a degree, this is really determined by how much time you have and how much you're willing to spend, as well as how much that property is willing to spend on their guests and what they are willing to offer their guests, and as allowed by their budget and their brand standards. So this is something that we try to do at this property, the Country Inn, and definitely the Hampton does a very good job of providing a great value for guests and a great selection. But to be fair, the economy segment, the economy hotels we reviewed, that is a great, great value for people, especially on a budget. I hope you guys have found this video useful and informative. This has been a lot of fun to make. I had a lot of fun making this video and going to these different properties and interviewing people who have been in the industry longer than myself, and just networking and getting to connect with others, and put this video out there for you has been a real pleasure to do. So I hope you all enjoyed this. This is Jay Hospitality signing off. Thank you.